Hey guys, it's Stephanie, and I wanted to talk about the books that I'm planning to read in December. And I don't know about you, but I felt like making a TBR for December was tough because it is a month that just bears all the brunt of like all of your resolutions. If your resolutions are at all attainable, all the pressure is on December to come through for you. And there was a lot of things I wanted to do. I wanted to read some Christmas, winter themed books. I wanted to read some mysteries. I always want to read horror. And I wanted to participate in a read along. And all of these things have come together to bring you this TBR that hopefully I will follow through with. So without further ado, here's what I'm planning to read this month. First off, I am doing a buddy read at the end of the month with Kate Howe. We haven't done a buddy read since we tackled Gone with the Wind together earlier this year. And she, if you didn't know, is hosting the Cloak and Dagger readathon with Kate at the Novel Nomad and a few other people. And it's basically getting people to read mysteries in December, which is why I wanted to participate in this, but I felt like I had so many other things I wanted to do. So I at least am reading 2 mysteries. So the book we're reading together is called The Missing by Tim Gatreux. I had never heard of this. Kate brought it to my attention. So it takes place in 1920s Louisiana and follows our main character Sam, who is a floor walker at a department store when a girl goes missing while he's on duty. And so he takes it upon himself to look for this girl. And it's a journey that's going to take him through the dark underbelly of New Orleans. So I will be tackling this one, I think, closer to the week of Christmas, but I'm excited for it. So next up is a book I bought from Book Outlet and a book that was nominated for the Young Adult Bram Stoker Award, and that is The Ravenous by Amy Lucavics. And this is about a family called the Kane family, and on the cover it says, like, from outside they seem like the perfect family. It's all these sisters. So one of the girls dies, but she comes back as something, let's say, unnatural, and has an appetite for human flesh. And so I'm really interested to see what they'll do with this. This will be the second book I've read that was nominated for that category. So I'm hoping to get to a few more of those. I've never read anything by this author, and she has a few books out that really pique my interest. Next up is a review copy that was sent to me by the author, and that is The Forgotten Island by David Sodergren. And you may have seen him on Bookstagram as Paperbacks and Pugs, and he has the most adorable pug, Boris, who is just in all his pictures, and it is one of my favorite accounts ever. I think he did change his name. I'll leave that down below though. So this follows 2 sisters who go on a trip in an attempt to reconnect, and they end up getting stranded on an island that may hold a dark and evil secret. I'm really interested to get to this. This has been getting a lot of really good positive feedback, which makes me really excited to get to it. A few weeks ago, I posted on Instagram that my library was selling a lot of the Fear Street chapter books, and it was on the shelf that was like fill a bag for $1. So I 100% just knocked all of those books into a bag and took that bag home, and it cost me $1. And one that I thought would be festive for this time of year is this Fear Street super chiller called Silent Night. I just love the bag. The bottom tagline is, after all, who can you turn to when murder comes gift wrapped? So I have not read an R.L. Stine chapter book in like, how old am I? I don't know, like almost 20 years. So I'm really interested to revisit these. I'm also planning to read The Shuddering by Ania Ahlborn. This is going to be as part of a read-along that is taking place on Instagram with Tracy Reads and a few other people. I've read quite a few Ania Ahlborn books, and I really like her writing. I bought The Shuddering a long time ago and have just been meaning to get to it, so this is the perfect opportunity for me to finally get it read. I honestly didn't even know what it was about. I just saw Ania Ahlborn's name and just bought it. Our main characters are twins, Ryan and Jade. They are adults revisiting their family's old cabin in Colorado that their family is going to turn around and sell. So they're just going to get like one last, you know, good week out of it. And they're on a ski trip with some of their closest friends. But as often goes with horror novels, maybe there's something dark and evil outside. Which, in case you haven't noticed, I have a soft spot for characters being trapped in a situation where there is something dark and evil outside. So I am looking forward to this. I have like a summer island book and like a winter book that are both seemingly survival horror, and I am here for it. And another festive story that I'm planning to get to is Christmas Eve on Haunted Hill by Bryan Smith. So in this story, a man, a patriarch named Silas Hertzinger, was dressed in a Santa suit and axe murdered basically his whole family except for his son, Luke. It's 10 years later now, and Luke is very depressed and he actually plans to commit suicide. And he plans to go back to the house on Haunted Hill where that atrocity happened, and maybe he finds something there. I had to have at least some Christmas horror in this TBR. The next book I want to read is You Better Not Cry, Stories by Augusten Burroughs. This is nonfiction. These are memoir essays, but they're supposed to be funny and holiday themed. So I saw this compared a lot to David Sedaris's Holidays on Ice, which I really enjoyed, but I felt like I just read it last year, so I wanted something a little different before I revisit Holidays on Ice. And this definitely seemed to be within that same genre. So I'm interested to get to this, and I'm hoping it's really funny. The next book I plan to read is Hercule Poirot's Christmas. This is, of course, an Agatha Christie novel, and I felt like what better time to read it than now because of the Cloak and Dagger read along that I am like kind of sorta participating in. And of course it's Christmas. So yeah, definitely gonna listen to Agatha Christie's like Christmas mystery. And I also plan on reading Ronald Malfi's December Park. I read his horror short story collection, We Should Have Left Well Enough Alone, earlier this year, and I really enjoyed it. He has quite a few novels out that I want to get to, but this is the one that intrigues me the most. This has a little bit of a setup like Stephen King's It, where it's like the group of boys in a different decade. This takes place in the 90s in a suburb called Harding Farms, and children are going missing. And a young girl's body has turned up, and they're calling the person who is behind these murders the Pied Piper because he's like calling the children to him. And our main cast that we're following is 5 boys who think they might know what's behind these murders, and they team up together to fight against it. So it sounds really good, and it is one of those stories that I am like a total sucker for, which is very much like It, Summer of Night, just like horror coming of age stories. And the last book I'm planning to read is an anthology I recently picked up from the library that is Fright into Flight, edited by Amber Fallon. And this might sound familiar because Stephen King and I forget who else he was working with, but they released an anthology called like Flight into Fright. I think it was just switched. And that was like all male authors, and so this is a response to that where it's all female horror authors writing stories set around flying and flight. And I have a few authors in here that I'm really excited to hear their stories because I've heard great things about them, including Damien Angelica Walters and Gemma Files and Nadia Bolkin, among others. So I have heard a lot of good things about this, and I'm really excited to get to it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this. Let me know if you've read any of these books or if any of these interest you in any way. Like I said, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye!